Okay, I am Comin Atcha live. Today is Friday. It is the end of April. We're going into a fantastic weekend, and I want to talk to you about a show that I went to last week on April the 18th. It was Cradle of Filth live at the House of Blues with support acts Wednesday 13 and Raven Black. Now, the show started incredibly early. That was something that I thought was really odd, because normally they give you time to get there before the first band goes on. But they opened the doors at 6. The show went on at 7 sharp. So by the time Jensen and I got there, Wednesday 13 had already started their set. So Raven Black, I'm sorry I missed you. I've heard that it was an incredible experience. Wednesday is Wednesday. He's fun, he's brash, he's loud, he is unapologetic. He's gorgeous. And he always puts on a great show. So thank you for that. But let's talk about our headliner, Cradle of Filth. Where do I begin with Cradle of Filth? When they first came out, I hated them. I got Dusk in Her Embrace in a promo kit when it came out in the very early 90s. And I took one listen to it and said, not my thing. And, you know, I really wanted to like it because I am a black metal fan. You know, I love Dark Throne. You know, I love Emperor. You know, I love Mayhem, Carpathian Forest, Gorgoroth, Belphegor, Dark Funeral. The list goes on and on and on. Oh, and Abath. We can't forget Abath. Everybody loves Abath, right? So, you know, being that I was active in that particular scene and worked with a lot of bands from that genre, when I first saw the packaging of the album, I was like, oh, yay. Opened it up, looked at the pictures, took a couple of listens to the first 1 or 2 songs, and not for me. I'm going to tell you what changed my mind. In the mid-90s, I got another package with a video for Pandemonium, and this accompanied the Cradle to Enslave EP, and I gave them another chance. I have their entire catalog. I have now been a fan for years. I sat down with Danny several years ago and did an interview, and he was gracious and funny, and he completely won me over. Let's talk a little bit about Danny. Danny Filth is probably one of the most maligned lead vocalists in the symphonic black metal genre. He's short. He can be kind of obnoxious. But those goofy pictures are doing it for people because they sell a lot of records and their tours are sold out. He's been made fun of by journalists, other musicians, people who just don't seem to have an appreciation for the shtick that they've got going on. But you don't get a Grammy-nominated song or album if you suck most of the time. For a black metal oriented band to have been recognized by the Recording Academy, and let me make very, very clear, I hate the Grammys. The Grammys are ridiculous. It's a stroke fest for bands that suck, pretty much. But in the metal category, over the last several years, even though they don't televise that portion, it has gotten better as far as the selection of artists. I mean, Jethro Tull's not in there anymore. And yes, I am referring to the 1988 very first ever Hard Rock Metal Award. And as I watched on TV and saw Lita Ford and Alice Cooper present the award to Jethro Tull, who is not a metal band, I pretty much stopped watching at that point. But I've noticed over the last several years, bands that have real clout, bands that are talented, they're pulling them forth. I still am in firm agreement that every time Megadeth was nominated, they should have won, but they didn't. Cradle of Filth was nominated for their song Amphetamine. The female guest vocal was Liv Christine of Theater of Tragedy, Leaves Eyes fame. Now she's a solo artist, and she also works with Sirens. And that song was fantastic. So I changed my mind quite a bit about what I thought about this band. Seeing them live is a completely different experience. And I will tell you that I liken them to bands that you'll notice over time in both my written and video reviews. I have told you if this is a band that you need to see live at least one time. And I will tell you that Cradle of Filth is a band that you need to see live, whether you like them or not. Just go see it at least once. They finished up their U.S. tour here in Dallas, and they're now on their way to South America. They have another leg of shows down there, and then they'll be going to Europe. Now, what's interesting is the band tours for a number of months, years, sometimes even on one album. Cryptoriana came out in 2017, and that is the album that they've toured on. They've been to Dallas twice in the last year on that particular tour in support for that album. It's done very well for them. Something that they have also been plagued with over the years is member lineup changes. Danny is the sole original member left in the band. He did found the band. It's his band. But supporting players have come and gone over the years. I want to particularly point out their new female keyboardist and siren and specialty vocalist. Her name is Lindsay Schoolcraft. She's outstanding. She's been with the band for a little while now. Many have come and gone before her. She is absolutely outstanding. She came on stage first. I'm not liking this to the stage show that we saw with Flesh God Apocalypse last month, where the female vocalist came out first and glided onto the stage in an ethereal manner. Lindsay came out with this very Maleficent-esque headdress, long medieval gown. She took her place behind the keyboards. Smoke started filling the auditorium. It was at House of Blues here in Dallas, so they had a really big room, great crowd. Thursday night, weeknight, good crowd for a weeknight. And at that point, the rest of the band started coming out on the stage, and they had the intro music of Ava Satani, and as the band came out, they moved into Gilded Cunt, and Danny, when he comes out, is just larger than life. It was a 15-song set, and they played for about an hour and 45 minutes. So you got a really good infusion of songs from their entire career on this tour. They didn't focus just on the music from Cryptoriana. They went all the way back into the crypt, so to speak, for the set list. And I want to talk to you a little bit about who is in the band now. Danny, of course, is our vocalist, and Lindsay is our female vocalist for this lineup. We also have Richard Shaw on guitars, Ashok on guitars, Daniel Firth on bass, and he's been with the band for a little bit. Martin Skaruka on drums, and together they were just a well-oiled machine. This show went off without a hitch. Danny's energy is unbelievable. He's my age, and I couldn't even imagine jumping around on a stage anymore. He's aged well, and his performances have really become the signature statement of the band. You also have to consider the fact that this is a theatrical act. They're in costumes. They're in makeup. The stage set is a production in itself, and then you have the full backdrop of the album cover for Cryptoriana behind the risers and all of the stage effects. So it was an enjoyable evening. I'm going to run down the set list for you and talk to you a little bit about each of these songs. Nemesis was second in the lineup. And then we went right into Right Wing of Garden Triptych and Heartbreaking Seance. Now, the Bathory aria, which includes Benighted Like Usher, Murder of Ravens and Feud, and Eyes That Witness Madness. This was a wonderful melodic medley of these particular songs. And Lindsay did her part appropriately with that, and she sounded fantastic. Then we went into Vesper Vespertine, and then they brought out Dusk in Her Embrace. Okay, remember, this is the song that I hated when they first came out, but I will erase that memory from the early 90s. I really enjoyed hearing them do this song live. Of course, they usually do it with every tour. There's been a couple of shows that I've seen where they didn't include it in the set list, but that's pretty rare. You Will Know the Lion by His Claw followed that, and then they did what I would call a magnificent encore. It was a multi-song encore, and you know, a lot of bands, you know, they come back out on the stage, they do 1 or 2 songs, and then they're done. Danny Field's idea of an encore is 6 or 7 songs, and they started it with Creatures That Kissed in Cold Mirrors, and then The Promise of Fever, Saffron's Curse, and then they brought on Nymphetamine. This, since it's been Grammy nominated and since the song was so popular when it came out, I would say that Nymphetamine Fix is their signature song. It's their signature song. The crowd went absolutely nuts when they started this. Now, what is a Cradle of Filth audience? What do they look like? Who are they? Cradle of Filth appeals to a multitude of age ranges and genre. You know, every genre of metal has their diehards. They do, but Cradle tends to just be inclusive of all different types of metal fans. We don't see just that hardened black metal fan there. We see people of all age ranges, people of all races and ethnicities. We see young, old, people with their kids. I took my son, he's 16. He's my photo assistant, and he goes to a lot of things with me. And I wanted, he hadn't gone with me to see them before, because before he was like I was when I was first introduced to them. He was kind of like, don't know about that, but he went and he had a fantastic time. He was like, why didn't I go do this before? I was like, because you prejudged like I did, and, you know, must run in the family. But they were great. He had a great time. Nymphetamine Fix is the song that people just, I mean, the mosh pit went nuts, absolutely nuts. After that, we had Honey and Sulphur and Ghost in Her Fog. Ghost in Her Fog, same reaction as Nymphetamine. People were all over the place. They were coming over the rail into the photo pit. It was constant. During the first 3 songs while I was shooting, I nearly got hit in the head at least 4 or 5 times, people coming over the rails. Security really had to do their job that night. It was that wild for at least, you know, the majority of the show. The encore was From the Cradle to Enslave, which the video that accompanied that album release, Pandemonium, was quite controversial. It was NC-17 rated. The PMRC said it bordered on pornography. It didn't. It was harsh. It was harsh, and it showed some quasi-sexual things, and it did have some nudity in it. But it was not any worse than Marilyn Manson's Uncensored Saint video. Actually, it probably wasn't that bad. So that song live is for me the highlight of the evening, because in that era of that particular release was when I gave the band a second chance and decided that I liked them. So Loudwire, some of Metal Sucks, some of the other music publications that I have seen make fun of Cradle of Filth. Who cares what you say? The fans love them. The fans love them. The show is great. I can't say enough about it. I want to thank Nuclear Blast, Adrenaline PR, tour manager for Wednesday 13, Roger Smith. They are the ones that make all of this possible. And like I said, whether you like them or not, go see them at least one time. Just once. That's all you need. And I guarantee you, you will change your mind. So from all of us at KNAC, have a wonderful weekend, and I will talk to you guys soon. And we're listening to Cryptoriana. Get it on Spotify. Go to cradleoffilth.com. Order from Nuclear Blast Distribution. It's fantastic. It's a great album, and it was a live show. You need to check it out. Have a great weekend.